I'm Terri Nunn, and I'm with the band Berlin. The core of Berlin, for most of it, was John Crawford and I. We wrote the songs, and we put together bands around us for the tours, because initially we didn't have computers, we didn't have tracks, we didn't have any way, to reproduce what we were doing in the studio, so we had to get live players. Now we can have tracks, we can have video, we can have everything playing with the same band, so it doesn't change all the time. It's fantastic now because anything that we can come up with, we can do live. That's really exciting for me because we couldn't do that before. We used to have like reel-to-reel tape players on stage, and they would break and they would go slow if it was hot, and we couldn't, like, now computers run everything. My computer runs my video, it runs lights, it runs all of the tracks, it runs weird sounds, it runs whatever I want we can add to the live show. So it's way better. Yeah, it was then, because electronic music hadn't happened yet in the States. It was going on overseas. You know, we had Kraftwerk in Germany, we had Ultravox in England, and we were in love with them. You know, John and I, we wanted to do that. And all we could afford was one little synth player, you know, a Prophet 5. So the whole first album was one synth and one drum machine, because that's all we could, you know, we had money for. But at the time, it was power pop. It was punk. It was the Cramps. It was X. It was the Plimsolls, the Go-Go's, the Motels, Oingo Boingo, the Police. You know, they were all like very power poppy, skinny tie bands. So we didn't fit in with what was going on. It took a while to get heard, and we got better too as time went on. I love what EDM's doing now. We were always a dance band, and even now they're using sounds that we started with. I mean, Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails' new single starts with a TR-808 drum machine sound. That's our whole first album. You know, it's all we had. So it's those sounds, but it's also sounds like Skrillex, who are doing things I've never heard before, and I love that it's progressing, that there's, you know, the basis that people love, but there's also new stuff. And that's the point of our new album, is to give people the Berlin they know, but also with sounds they haven't heard us do before. We didn't write Sex I'm a to get banned. We wrote it to get on a radio station in town, because there was only one shot where we lived in Southern California of a station that would even consider playing Berlin in any way. I mean, we had like classic rock stations, we had, you know, more of the, you know, I don't know, the hair band stations. This was beginning of the 80s. I mean, it really wasn't new music yet. New wave hadn't really taken hold. So this one station liked really quirky stuff, and they would play like sexy stuff, and we thought, okay, let's write a song about sex for you, Terri, right now. So I wrote Sex about my boyfriend and I. We were just going through a tough time. You know, sex was okay, but it wasn't great. And so one day I came in and I said, you know, Richard, maybe we could like role play. You know, I could be like a damsel in distress, and you could be a burglar, and you could come in and you could take me, and or you could be a pirate. And he was just like, nah, I'm just a guy. I don't like that stuff. I don't want to do that, you know. I just like normal guy stuff. So I wrote the song like that. The man is always, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. I'm a goddess, I'm a virgin, I'm a blue movie, I'm a bitch, I'm a geisha. You know, so we're just playing off each other. He never changes, and I change all the time. That was what I was going through.